Well, in this video, I want to talk about three things to consider as you're trying to identify the 144,000 that are referenced in Revelation chapter 7. The first is this: the 144,000 and the great multitude that are spoken of in Revelation chapter 7 are not two different peoples, but two different ways of describing the same purified bride. And in that sense, the 144,000 and the great multitude are comparable to the lion and the lamb. So, as John is told about a lion, and then he turns around to see a lamb, so he is told about the 144,000 and turns to see a great multitude. And therefore, the 144,000 is to the great multitude what the lion is to the lamb. It's the same entity seen from two different perspectives or two different vantage points. From one vantage point, the purified bride is numbered. From the other, she is innumerable. She's a great multitude that no one can count. Secondly, to suggest, as modern prophecy pundits so frequently do, that the 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes means exactly 12,000, not 11,999 or 12,001, hardly comports with reality. Now, why do I say that? I say that because the figurative use of the number 12 and its multiples is, of course, well established in biblical history. For example, the tree of life in paradise, I'm talking about paradise restored, is said to bear 12 crops of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. Moreover, the great presbytery in heaven is surrounded by 24 elders, a multiple of 12. And likewise, the figurative use of the number 1,000 is very, very common in Old Testament usage. God increased the number of the Israelites 1,000 times. God keeps his covenant of love to 1,000 generations. God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. The least of Zion will become 1,000, the smallest a mighty nation. God shows love to 1,000 generations, and I'm sure if you thought about it, you could come up with 1,000 more examples. Of course, I'm speaking figuratively, which you could easily add to this list. And then thirdly, I think it's important to consider what 144,000 actually represents. It actually represents true Israel as she was intended to be, perfect in symmetry and providentially sealed. She's the purified bride from every nation, from every tribe, from every people, from every language that will step over Jordan into New Jerusalem prepared for her from the very foundations of the world. In sum, the number 144,000 represents the limitless great multitude of all whose names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life, those who will inhabit the courts of God for all eternity. If you want more information on how to determine your own eschatology, I counsel you to read a book that I wrote some time ago called The Apocalypse Code. Find out what the Bible really says about the end times and why it matters today. That book available through the ministry of the Christian Research Institute. You can check it out on the web at equip.org. It's available for those who support the ministry. Again, equip.org. Check it out. Your copy available for your support of the ministry outreaches of the Christian Research Institute.